Oh dear.
Don't mention Thanos.
I know, I'm not going to mention him.
Don't mention Marvel.
Sorry I ever did. Sorry everyone.
Apologise for offending the DC world.
Sorry that I mentioned that Thanos was like Darkseid. Because he is.
Shut up.
So this is another sort of trailer that's been sort of released. And it's like the Darkseid one in that it's about a certain character.
Yeah.
And I've been told that there's no footage that hasn't been shown in any of the trailers yet. But it's only 30 seconds. But we got a full video out of the Darkseid video, so we'll
3 minutes.
Yeah, but it's followed by the full trailer.
Oh, okay.
It's only 30 seconds, so we're going to watch the 30-second clip about Cyborg, see what we can find. And we're not going to mention Darkseid or Thanos.
Well, you just
Oh,
did.
crap, I just did, didn't I?
Shaun, shut up.
God,
Play the clip.
these bloody videos.
He's learning.
Too much.
He's learning.
Whatever happened to you? You have gifts now.
Everything breaks, Victor.
I can't wait to see what you can pick
In
up.
the world of ones and zeros, you are the absolute master.
These boxes will get inside you and find your weaknesses and your fears.
Take your place among the brave ones. I'm not broken,
Okay.
and I'm not alone.
God, there's not much to go off there.
Calm down, Cyborg.
I
If
know.
you get...
It's interesting that all the DCEU characters have their own individual flying methods. Like the way they sort of hold themselves. Like Superman is Jesus. Right? Obviously his normal one is the two in the front, but his normal, like if you remember his first flight, it's Jesus. You know, not Aquaman. Wonder Woman's sort of one hand, and he's just kind of like,
yeah.
you know, I puff the chest out. So,
He's learning in this.
yes, this is him learning
Scene.
everything. There's a car. That's a boat.
Like a power plant or something
Looks
like
like
that
a power plant, yeah. There's planes, rockets, satellites.
Whatever
So who's the voice?
His mother, potentially?
happened to you? You have gifts now.
Everything breaks, Victor.
That's his dad.
Wait to see what you can pick
In
up.
the world of ones and zeros, you are the absolute master.
These boxes will get inside you and find your weaknesses.
Is that
and your
him?
fears.
He's looking back at himself.
Among the brave ones.
That looks cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool mask. It looks a little bit like Dead Shots from Suicide Squad. Bit
Oh,
meh.
because of the red.
The single
bit,
sort
yeah.
of red eye design, but you know, I can live with it.
I'm not broken,
I've just erased Suicide Squad from my memory.
For good reasons.
and I'm not alone.
Yeah, so it's
So you
this.
said something in the last trailer reaction
Yeah.
about you thought he kind of was in his own kind of like simulated world.
Yeah,
So maybe
I think this is essentially his version of the nightmare sequence that's taking place in his own head.
well, like he's seeing what could happen if like
Yeah, like he's doing the calculations.
right, okay.
It's
Might be cool.
interesting. Yeah, it's interesting that he looks at himself. So this is obviously after he's been fused with the mother box.
Yeah.
That's a house with a big hole in it, right? So why would he be looking at his family? Maybe this is after his dad dies as well. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe his mother's already dead.
Well, there was that clip of him like in a graveyard, like looked like he was digging.
Yeah,
So maybe that's where like he does it.
yeah. You can see the city's in absolute ruins.
Uh-huh.
These boxes will get inside you and find your weaknesses and your fears.
Does she say these boxes will get inside of you? Okay.
Among the
So-
brave ones.
This is going to offend a lot of people. All of this time, and I still think it looks so cartoonish.
What do you think?
I just think it looks so cartoonish. Like the obviously the metallic parts of him, not his face or anything.
Yeah, not the real part.
But like the robotic part, I just think it looks cartoonish. I think there's so many parts of this film that look so like brilliant,
Yeah.
but then there's just so many parts of it as well that I just think look so cartoonish.
Well, I mean, you have to make sacrifices on a movie like this, aren't you? When
Yeah,
some
I mean,
CGI.
you know, I like I say, if it's really good, which I'm hoping it is, then I'll naturally just forget things
Yeah.
like that. But I haven't felt this hopeful about a film since The Last Jedi, and we all know how that turned out.
Yeah.
I really hope this.
It pays off.
I'm not even sure if
Not
you
even
could call
pays
it a
off.
film anymore, but this whole project, I really hope that it's good.
Yeah.
So the thing is,
So that looks like a graveyard there.
that's the graveyard. You know, in the one of the other trailers,
Yeah.
that's the one where we see him sort of
Digging.
frantically digging. And at the time, I thought that was Superman's grave, that was him going to get Superman's body. But maybe it's not. Maybe
Maybe he's not digging. Maybe he's punching the ground. Maybe this is his dad's grave or his mother's grave or someone's grave.
So it seems a lot like there's going to be a sort of, for this whole thing, that there's going to be almost like an urgency that you have to do it, otherwise if you don't do it soon enough, this is what'll happen, and that it's essentially the destruction of the planet. And it feels like, instead of just sort of implying that, which is what more superhero movie, you know, if you feel the world's going to die and all that stuff,
Yeah.
it's going to be more like
It's actually
it's going
showing
to
you.
show you what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Almost as if it's going, okay, so forget about implicit. We're going to show you everything that's going to happen if these don't.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to
Well,
be
I
nothing
feel-
subtle about
I
it.
feel like that benefits Darkseid in a way, though,
Yeah.
by doing that. Because
Yeah.
it's like, okay, look at what this guy can do. This is a big
Yeah, well, it's a form
deal.
of bigging them up, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which,
But-
to be fair, this has to do because there's been no, you know, sort of run up to it, like, say, dare I say it, like a Marvel Avengers movie that has movies upon movies of building up.
Dun,
The
dun,
only
dun.
kind of build up that this has had, unfortunately, because, you know, I would have rather have had Zack Snyder movies, where he constantly improved and we got
It's
to
like
a build up.
his universe. Yeah.
Rather than having the Justice League, well, let's start from again, from Batman vs Superman,
Uh-huh.
then Suicide Squad, then Justice League, then waiting another year for them to finally go, okay, so we're going to let Zack Snyder do his own.
Yeah.
Because that's the only kind of build up that it's had, and it's like I would rather have had 5 or 6 movies building up to this movie, and then I would have been happy.
Yeah, that's. I think that's a fair thing to say. I think for comic book fans, it's easier to go, oh my god, that's Darkseid, God help us.
Yeah.
But for like people that are more casual, who haven't read the comics, it's kind of like, well, why should I care about this character I've never seen?
Yeah.
So it's going to be. I think this movie will do that, because by the looks of the trailers and stuff, it already is really playing a big part in how big of a threat Darkseid is. So hopefully this movie will, like you said, lead to, if it's a good movie, then hopefully it'll lead to like Zack Snyder kind of being given his own universe to kind of really play on that. So
That's it. I would quite enjoy a sort of Zack Snyder universe, because I think the DC lends itself better to being more of a Zack Snyder universe than, say, a Marvel universe.
yeah,
And it definitely lends itself better to being a Zack Snyder universe than a Joss Whedon.
yeah,
Because to me, I'll be happy if this movie has no jokes in it, except from the likes of The Flash and maybe Aquaman or Superman, but the rest, especially, well, I mean, I suppose Wonder Woman. But
I would say it shouldn't be coming from Batman and Cyborg,
yeah,
definitely.
probably the two most sort of depressing characters, and not in a bad way, but like they are the two most depressing characters. One, because he's had his entire life taken away from him by a machine that he doesn't necessarily control, and the other one because that is just his fundamental character, that he's depressing and he's brooding. That's who he is. So it does. I think it does lend itself better to being a Zack Snyder film than a Joss
I really
Whedon
don't know
film.
what to take from this clip. Like this 30-second clip, it's so like
Small.
not even small. Like because what's there, I'm kind of just like, okay. Because every time I think I get an idea of what the movie's going to be about, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. And then this, and I'm kind of like, okay, so what's is that whole thing of him seeing his family, like maybe like the mother box in his head's way of trying to keep him trapped in like this dream state so he doesn't go, or is this like him trying to like convince
Motivate
himself to
yeah.
go? And I'm kind of I don't.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good that something that Zack Snyder's probably not realised is that this will also act as quite a few of the characters' origin stories as well.
Yeah.
And I think that whole sequence where he's inside whatever it is, if it's his own mind or if it's another nightmare sequence, I think it'll be good that it shows you his mentality, where it's kind of like he understands why he has to, despite the fact that he's had his whole life taken away from him,
Mm-hmm.
he understands why he has to
Yeah.
fight the good fight, you know. And we know obviously that he, in the nightmare sequence, that he survives,
Mm-hmm.
which is another sort of element, so that, you know, I suppose we'll just see. I mean, I suppose you can't really kill Cyborg, can you? Because he's a computer, basically. It's like a really advanced supercomputer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there probably is a way of killing him, but yeah. I think it would be good to see, like, if Zack Snyder, like, makes a bigger deal out of his character. I feel like in Joss Whedon's version, he was kind of just there, and then he kind of separated the mother boxes, and it was like, oh, yay.
Yeah.
I feel like, considering he got, like, he became Cyborg because of the fusion with the mother box, he is, like, an important character that should be played on a lot more than what he was.
Yeah.
So.
I hope he is. I hope he becomes a cool character, because, he was always just kind of the extra part.
He was just kind of always there, given, like, the data and the facts, wasn't he? He was kind of just always.
He had that cool moment where he took over the bat thing.
Yeah. But other than that,
Yeah,
he didn't really do anything else, did
he? He has the bit where he laughs with Superman.
Yeah.
But he says he can't feel his toes. Even though he doesn't have toes, but he does have toes, because you can see his toes moving. Weird. Anyway, let us know what you think. What did you make of this 30-second clip? We might see if we do every single character one that's been released, because there might be more footage for each one. Let us know what you think that sort of sequence was where we saw his family. That sequence. Let us know what you think that is. Do you think it's in his head? Do you think it's a nightmare sequence for him, like it is for Batman? Also, don't be angry. Don't be upset that we mentioned Marvel in a DC trailer. Both worlds are cool. Just saying. So like the video because it helps. Subscribe and hit the little bell to be notified when we upload. We upload every day. Anything else you want to say?
I'm still confused on this scene, and it's going to be one of those things that's going to be in my mind until I watch it, which is going to annoy me. In a good way, though, because you want it to be on your mind, but like...
It, make you watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for watching.
I need to know.